ABC Action News is streaming breaking news.
And that breaking news happening in Tampa right now. Police just arresting 9 men who they say are part of a violent street gang. This following a 2-year investigation. Officers giving us details now. We want to listen in as soon as they are at the podium. There we go. Let's listen in. All right, they're about to start. We understand 3 agencies are involved in this investigation. Tampa Police, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and also Florida's Attorney General, Ashley.
Well, thank
Moody.
everyone for
Let's
coming. Brought everybody here today because I'd like to discuss an investigation that began back in May of 2017. We've been investigating a gang called the 200 Scudda Gang. They've been working out of the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, and parts of Georgia. This has been an investigation that we've been working with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Florida Attorney General's office. But there's also been some other agencies involved. We've had the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office assistants, Rockdale County Sheriff's Office in Georgia, Conyers County Sheriff's Office in Georgia, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Marshals Task Force. So this gang members, they have been working together, and they have committed fraud throughout the United States involving hundreds of victims. The gang members include rappers who wrote songs that describe shootings, killing snitches, in the absence of fear of law enforcement. They have a rap music entertainment business that works out of a business license out of Georgia. Our detectives have been investigating them, like I said, back in May of 2017 when we had a homicide back here in Tampa. And as they investigated the shootings, they discovered numerous cases involving fraud. Members of the gang members conspired to commit acts of witness intimidation during open cases, credit card fraud, identity theft, criminal possession of personal identification information, and personal use of fraudulent identification, wire fraud, purchase of firearms by convicted felons, and illegal narcotic sales and delivery of narcotics. So far, we have 9 people that we have arrested in this ongoing investigation. Right now, I'd like to bring up, I have Mark Brutnell from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. We also have Kelly McKnight from the Office of the Statewide Prosecutor. Mark?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. I'm FDLE Special Agent in Charge, Mark Brutnell, and I'm happy to stand alongside our law enforcement partners to announce the arrest of several Scudda gang members. I have no doubt that the arrests made today will make Tampa a safer city. The Scudda gang has a violent history, including homicide, attempted homicide, aggravated battery, narcotics, and several firearms violations. Overall, the members of this gang have been hell-bent on committing serious crimes, and like many of the gangs we see in the state of Florida, they're very transient. Meaning, not only do they wreak havoc here in Tampa, but as the chief alluded, also in the county, Georgia, and other states. And while the first roundup may be coming to a close, this investigation is still ongoing and active. I'd like to ask our citizens, if they have any information regarding this gang, to please contact Tampa or FDLE, and we'd be happy to take the information. Again, I can't stress this has been a great team effort, and our efforts today have definitely made the Tampa Bay area a safer community. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mark. Do you have any questions for us? I said we've thrown a lot of information out there. Steve can follow up with details of the charges. But, you know, it all kicked off with the homicide investigation back in May of 2017, and it has spurred off into all kinds of other things. And so I'm happy that we were able to bring some of this to some closure, but there are still some loose ends that we're going to be clearing up on it.
What was the homicide in May of 2017?
The victim was Kelly Stacy. He was 17 years old. It happened over on Bush Boulevard.
What led you to a gang? Why was there a connection that made you think, got it?
Well, when we started investigating the homicide, that's when we were able to bring up on suspects and started looking into the various backgrounds of their suspects, and that's what led to this gang.
Has there been an arrest in that 2017 case?
Yes. Yes, that is one of the cases that there's been an arrest in. The one arrest for racketeering, conspiracy to engage in racketeering, murder in the 3rd degree, criminal use of personal identification, and scheme to defraud was Joshua Green.
What about, you mentioned their words, their music, their videos. What crimes or real crimes, or were they just fantasy?
You know, we don't know exactly if they were to specific crimes, but it was more talk of some of the crimes they would like to do, that type of nature.
How helpful were those songs in making these arrests?
I don't know if it really helped, but it shows their mentality, the way they think, the way they operate. You know, it wasn't really necessarily part of the actual probable cause, but it tells you the mentality that you're dealing with and the stuff that they're putting out there in public.
You talked about their disdain for law enforcement and how that played into some of their lyrics, some of the things that you did here.
Well, you know, what it was, it just showed that their lack of respect and lack of, respect for authority, and just thinking that the citizens' laws didn't apply to them, that they could just operate any way they wanted, and it's clear that they've been brought to justice.
Any idea what Scudda, where that came from?
You don't know? So,
No, I don't.
oh, I'm sorry. I wish I am told that it's a street term, so we can get you that information. I'm not going to stand here and act like I know either. So I asked, and it's a street term, street slang out there, and we can give you more information about it.
Is any of us all in training?
I think that was one of their songs. Yes.
Do you know about how many members there might still be out there?
No, we're still trying to figure out exactly how many members there are. We're more focused on who we have charges on.
I think they were just operating here in Tampa or both.
No, it was going through all the way through Georgia, but parts of the U.S. too.
These arrests are just Tampa, is that right?
I believe all these arrests were here in Tampa.
Could you be more, Chief, could you
There was one of the arrests was in Georgia.
Could you be more geographically specific as were they operating throughout the whole city, or was there a pocket that, one homicide took place up at Bush Boulevard? Were they operating in a particular?
It was both in the city and in Hillsborough County and in parts of Georgia, but some of their financial crime fraud, I think, spread out to various places.
Are they a gang in the classic sense of the term, or are they like loosely friends, you know what I mean? Or is there like an actual hierarchy that?
That we're still trying to determine. I don't have that information right now. We're still trying to figure out. I mean, they were clearly orchestrated in what they were doing, but as far as their hierarchy, we're still developing that.
Just when they try to do witness intimidation, things like that, that just plays into the hand of people not wanting to come forward if they're going to feel threatened by stuff like this. Can you just maybe address the seriousness of these witness intimidations that they were doing?
Well, I think their music, their actions, their behavior was just part of a culture of intimidation. Acting that they were not in fear of law enforcement. Gave them a sense of invincibility. But I think now that we've made some arrests, we expect more. That type of attitude and bravado is going to come to an end.
It might be difficult to put a number on it, but do you know about how many victims in all when you take a look at everything that they're accused of?
I don't. Do you know the exact number? I know it was quite large. Yeah, about 100 victims is what he said.
What
Oh.
was the statewide case and not a federal case?
It was when it spread out through Hillsborough County and then in through the state. That was why it was just easier for us to work with a statewide prosecutor, and it just depends on the number of crimes, whether we go federal or not.
You have crimes in counties other than Hillsborough?
Yes,
How many and where?
I don't have that. Do you have that?
Not this time.
No.
Are they facing charges in Georgia as well,
Yes.
separate from these?
They have an open case that they're
Also murder charges, other murder charges, or just people?
Right now, the only murder case is the one we have in Tampa that we're aware of.
Kevin that killed was part of, why that might be with the game?
No. We don't think it had anything to do with the gang.
You said that was Joshua Green talking about?
Yes. Alrighty. Thank you.